Hello and welcome to the show. A lot of emails to catch up on today. Welcome along. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk. First of all, no more news about Gwen at the moment. She's slowly trying to recover. Okay, and we'll be speaking to her, as I say, on the phone as soon as she feels up to it. All right. My trip to Australia, I have almost sorted out my itinerary, dear. Oh, yes, when you're going on a long journey like that and you've got so much to do, I think it's important to plan ahead. I can't be doing, I don't know how people do it, especially lots of young people do it. In the one of the bars where I work, where I do karaoke and DJing, Belush's, they are, in fact, also a group of hostels, okay, all over the world. They have branches. And these people in there, I say young, the majority of them are quite young. Some of them are older. I've actually seen people my own age there who still do hosteling because, you know, it is very, very cheap. Very cheap. But how you can kind of just book a plane ticket and get to a country and then just do it from there. Oh, I just can't do that. I've got to have it all planned out. So I'm almost sorted with that. I checked out my plane ticket today on ba.com. I spoke to a very, very helpful man on the phone, dear. I'm not surprised he was blooming well helpful with the amount of money I'm spending with them. God's sake, probably Chris Reardon, here I am, Chris Reardon sitting here, possibly bankrolling the whole of BA for a week, dear. I mean, I should blooming well think they are nice to me on the phone. But they are. They're very, very nice on the phone. So that's happening. My back pain has returned. And I know why. Yesterday, I was at work, right? And yesterday for me was Sunday. And halfway through the night, another guy comes in and takes over the sound for one of the acts. One of the cabaret people. So that leaves me kind of in the back room doing nothing for about an hour. Anyway, they've got this chair in there and I sat there and once again I made the mistake of slouching. You know, I was right down, kind of back down in the chair, feet up on like this footstool, and kind of, you know, do you know what I mean? And once again, the back pain's returned. So it's got to be that. It's bad posture. I do believe bad posture. Do you ever remember doing cross legs at school or the Lotus position? How do we do? Oh, I'm going to try that on my settee. Just a minute. I'm going to try the Lotus position. Now, I think you have to remove your shoes, don't you? You're kind of... Don't you... Just a minute now. Don't you... You can do this with me at home, you know. Go on, have a go at doing this. You sit there and I think... You just... Is it you just put your feet together like that? Or... I don't know. It's similar to cross-legged, isn't it? Maybe I could do... When's the last time I sat down with my legs crossed? God, that must have been in the school assembly hall. 1 minute, can I do... I can't even cross my legs. I can't even cross my legs, for God's sake. Hang on a minute. 1 minute. Oh, God, blimey. That's it, here. Cross legs. Actually, that's quite comfortable. You remember you used to sit on in a school assembly hall on a really hard wooden floor with your legs crossed. And your bum used to go to sleep, didn't it? My bum's been asleep for years, to be honest. Oh, it's awful. Oh, well, I'm quite comfortable. And the Lotus position, I believe, is when you sit cross-legged with your arms on each knee and you sit quite straight. That is quite, actually, you know, the pain in my back, I can't feel that now. You know, so that works, doesn't it? But I'm so stupid that I must sit properly when I'm in these chairs in other places. I must say, I do tend to sit when I'm in the armchair at home or on the settee at home. I tend to sit with one leg crossed underneath the other. You know, so one leg's on the floor at right angles, and the other one is crossed underneath it, kind of taking the weight of the other one. It's probably not a very good thing, is it? Huh? Is that right with the Lotus position? Anyone let me know? My email address, if you want to join in, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Those of you that watch the show via YouTube may have noticed the last show we did in the garden, I think it was about 5 shows ago when it was still warm outside. It's got a bit cold now. The shirt I had on looked like I looked like a sack of old potatoes under that shirt. Did anyone notice? No one mentioned it. I'm surprised you didn't mention it. But I did look like a sack of old potatoes. And the reason for that is it wasn't that hot out there, so I had a T-shirt on underneath. And for some reason, that put all the shirt out of shape, and I did look... Oh, I looked awful. I looked awful. I've no idea of how to look. What we need here at United Kingdom Talk is a team of makeup artists to make me look young and some fashion experts to tell me what to wear, as long as it doesn't cost too much, because we don't want to be spending too much money on clothes. All right, so that's a shirt. I also checked out the name of that pub I mentioned in Brighton, where they did the carvery. Do you remember myself and my friend Jason went down there, it's a couple of weeks ago now, isn't it, for lunch in this pub. They were doing a carvery, and it was £3.50 each. And I did have the name right. It is indeed called the Saltdean Tavern, which is just down the road from Brighton. So if you're ever in that area, highly recommended that. During the week, probably at the weekend, certainly during the week. We went on a Tuesday afternoon, and we had a carvery, massive dinner for £3.50, worth every penny. The Saltdean Tavern in Brighton, okay, or just down the road from Brighton. And one more bit of news. Tomorrow is washing machine day, boys and girls. Oh yes, my new appliance is coming tomorrow from John Lewis. It is also John Lewis branded. £309 includes the taking away and the complete destruction of the old machine. I do hope they're going to recycle those bits and pieces. You know, none of this dumping it in an old hole. There we are. So that's happening tomorrow. My new gadget arrives tomorrow. My new washing machine. Okay, straight on to the emails then, because we're falling behind a little bit with these. First of all, Suko. Now, I'm going to change Suko's name here on the programme. Suko in New York. And I'll tell you why. For some reason, she finds it necessary now, when speaking about this programme, your friendly Chris Reardon on United Kingdom Talk, she finds it necessary to change my name to Smish Schmearden. Well, that's no good to me, dear, is it? Where's the publicity coming from? Someone's going to type that into Google to find out all about this programme, and they're not going to find anything, are they stupid woman, dear? No good to me at all. So, in future, Suko has been renamed Okis, which is Suko backwards. Okay? Okis. In fact, I'm not even going to mention New York. Let's change the whole thing, shall we? New York, let me think, when... Okis in Wen Kroy. Okis in Wen Kroy. That is what Suko will be known by now, seeing as she finds it... Oh, she finds it hilarious, dear. She finds it very amusing to change my name to Schmishmid, well, let's see how funny this is, shall we? So here we are, an email from Okis in Wen Kroy, and she writes, I love the liver prank. Oh yes, that's where I was saying, when you've, perhaps you've been out for a night and someone's a little bit drunk, pop into the toilet before they use it, chop up a piece of liver, put it in the toilet cistern, and when they've used the toilet and flushed a chain, they think they've had a terrible accident. When all this... when all this chopped liver appears in the toilet below. And she says, would you suggest chicken or beef liver? Oh, Suko, whichever is the cheapest, dear. I mean, one would hope you're not going to fish it out of the toilet and eat it afterwards, dear. God's sake, dear. That's the sort of thing Ross Patzelt would do. Ross Patzelt does his own podcast. rosspatzelt.co.uk. Now, what he was talking about something the other day which shocked me again. Now, what was it? Oh, my word. Something to do with women. Women and men's activities, shall we say. Oh, what was it he was saying? I can't even remember now. I was shocked, dear. Shocked. Oh, what was it he was saying? Can't remember. I don't know what he was saying. Do be careful if you're going to listen to that. If you're offended, then don't listen to that programme. Dreadful, dear, dreadful. We have a new, a new viewer. And she writes, "Hi Chris, my name is Brenda and I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, 6500, is it 6500? Da 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 da. Pennsylvania, 6500. Da 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 da. Glenn Miller, was that Glenn Miller? Oh, I like that one. Anyway, my name is Brenda from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I've been watching your show on iTunes for about a year and I really enjoy it. I wanted to take a moment to cast my vote to return the video format to iTunes. I usually download your show onto my iPod and I watch it on my lunch break at work. Now, Brenda, you're not the only one. I've had a couple of other emails about people a little bit disappointed that the show is or has been no longer uploaded to iTunes. I used a service called Blip TV to do this for me. So I've decided to put it back on there again. Okay, I've paid the fee. Oh, God's sake. $90 for the year, dear. £60. Anyway, as a few people mentioned, they were disappointed it had come off the iTunes. Hopefully, by the time you're watching or listening to this show, it is back on there. Okay? Now, if you want to get the show on iTunes, now that's very easy. Just in the iTunes search box for podcasts, type in United Kingdom Talk or United Kingdom Talk Video. Now, if you type in United Kingdom Talk, you will bring up both the audio version of the show and the video version of the show. And just choose what you want and click on subscribe and it should all work then. So hopefully by the time this show has been on, and you should have got an email from me, Brenda, telling you that we were doing this again. Okay, hopefully it will now be back on iTunes at yours and other people's requests. All right, my darlings? She says, since you usually ask new emailers about their hometowns, I thought I'd share a bit of it with you. Lancaster is best known for the Amish, or Pennsylvania Dutch. Now, I've actually heard of the Amish, but she goes into detail here and says, the Amish are a religious group that shun all things modern. They do not have electricity in their houses and do not use cars. They get around using horses and buggies. So, interesting that. Could we do without electricity? You think of all the modern things around you now. Indeed, this programme would not exist without electricity. I have the camera. I have the sound equipment. I have the lights in here. There's quite a few lights in here. All requiring electricity. Wonder what that's like. I mean, presumably, the Amish have always lived like this, so they wouldn't miss it. But have a little think about that yourselves. Take away all your electricity and your car. What have you got left? It's not much to do, is there? Wonder what that would be like. Maybe we should all do it for 1 week. Turn everything off for a week and not use our cars. But you wouldn't get very far, would you? Lancaster, well, I remember having power cuts in the 1970s when we had a big miners' strike here. That was quite entertaining. But, I mean, with a power cut, it only goes off for a few hours at a time. It's not like you've not got electricity anymore, full stop. Is it? She says, Lancaster is also about a 45-minute drive to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Of course, Hershey is best known for their chocolate. Oh, yes, many, many times when I've been to the States, I've seen bars of Hershey everywhere, yes. The town has a lot of entertainment facilities, including an amusement park, Chocolate World, and my favourite 2 concert venues. Whenever we go to Hershey for a concert, we like to go to Chocolate World. There you can buy varieties of chocolate and kisses in flavours that you cannot find in the stores. Now that would be my idea of a day out, Brenda. It really would. Incidentally, Brenda is the name of my auntie. I've got an auntie, Brenda. Nice name. Brenda also says that she is a cat lover and has 3 kitties. They do have a way of making the day a little better, don't they? Well, they do, yeah. Oh, yes. When I come in from work, usually I'll put the kettle on, because I get in from work quite late in the morning, sort of about 3 or 4 in the morning. I put the kettle on, and I sit on the chair in the kitchen, and Katie, my cat, she comes straight up, jumps on my lap, settles down, and wants to be stroked and said hello to. And she makes little noises. Meow, 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 like that. In fact, last night, I was feeling a bit adventurous, and I shouldn't really do this, but I let her into the living room last night. I have a bit of a problem with my asthma, which is why I usually keep the cat out of the room. But last night, I did let her in the living room for a few minutes, and she kind of settled down. Well, she couldn't settle down. She jumped on my lap, sat down, got up, turned around, sat down, got up, turned around, sat down, got down. But then she turned around and faced me. And she had that face on her. You know when cats suddenly look evil? Come on. If you've got a cat, you will know exactly what I mean. So he sat there, and you get that feeling, hang on a minute, she's about to attack or something. And her eyes were in that, I can't even explain it, but you know something's annoyed her. And I couldn't quite work, well, what's annoyed her? You know, I haven't done anything wrong. And she gave me this look, and then suddenly, ever so quickly, jumped off my lap and ran back into the kitchen. Aren't they funny? You know that look I mean, don't you? The look that the cat gives when it's about to attack or bite you. I should bite her back. Brenda says they do have a way of making the day better. Whenever I have a bad day at work, I like to come home for some purr therapy. I love it! Purr therapy. In fact, my one cat, Jenny, is on my shoulder, purring away as I type this. I love it. Oh, you should have taken a photograph of that, Brenda, and sent it in. I'm going to try and correspond regularly, so you'll be hearing from me again. Your once lurker, I like that, lurker, but now correspondent Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. I wonder how many other lurkers are out there. I often wonder, we don't get tons and tons and tons of emails in, but we get a few in. But sometimes I look at the amount of people that perhaps have listened or watched the show, and it's much, much more than the people who write in. You know, really, although I often have a little pile of emails here, there's only a handful of people that write. And I do wonder sometimes, how many lurkers are out there? Lurkers. Are you a lurker? Are you lurking? You naughty people. You mustn't lurk. You'll get in terrible, terrible trouble. I've been fortunate. I've never, ever got in trouble for lurking. Stop lurking and join in. The email address of the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Over to Australia then. And CW in Victoria writes, "Good day, Chris. It's Chris from Victoria, Australia here. Sorry I haven't wrote to you in some time, but I do have a rather good excuse this time. I had a holiday in the Philippines a couple of months ago and came back with viral pink eye. That hurt like mad. It was like someone throwing gravel in my eyes. Quite painful, and that lasted a month. After that, I seemed to be having problems with my vision and paid it never the mind, as I thought that was the pink eye or conjunctivitis. One Friday night, all of a sudden, the vision totally went, out of my left eye. That must be so frightening. I do know, we do have at least one person who is blind, listens to the show. David, his name is. And if I remember rightly, he's always been blind. And I don't make light of the situation, but to have your sight and then have it taken away must be just one of the most awful things. A bit like having your hearing and then suddenly losing it. And, you know, I can't comprehend how frightening that must be. CW says, I went to my GP and was referred to see a specialist right away. Well, it seems I have too much fluid pushing in the back of my eyes, causing major problems that could even lead to blindness. I was given special... Is the cause of this the viral thing that you had, I wonder? I was given special eye drops and told I was taking those for the rest of my life. The eye drops don't correct the problem, but they do help. I kept asking the specialist what might have caused this, and he just shrugs and says, I don't know, every time. I was hoping it was something that could be corrected, as the drops feel like acid to my eyes at times, and the doctor even said if I were older, he would swear it was glaucoma. My vision has gotten much better, but still have problems from time to time. I'll just have to be brave like Mummy's little soldier. Dear me. Well, I mean, I don't know what to say, really. You say you've just been to a GP and a specialist. I wonder, have you just been to one specialist? Could it be a good idea to go somewhere else? I don't know what your options are there. I think you need to ask around, really. Do you have a specialist eye hospital there somewhere that could help you? I really would go and see someone else and ask their opinion, even if, I don't know what your financial situation's like. I don't know how it works in Australia, but even if you had to pay, it's got to be worth paying to see if anything can be done about that, surely. Chris says, listening to your show makes me feel better, of course, as it keeps reminding me that the whole world has its problems and mine is minor indeed. I don't think it's minor. I think an eye problem is just awful. I really feel bad for Gwen. She seems to be a lady with no fear, and I admire her quite a lot, as my mum battled cancer for many years before she sadly lost her battle. I hope the same isn't true for dear Gwen. I just wanted you to know that I'm still listening and will continue to do so as long as we are lucky to have you doing so. I promise not to wait so long before my next email. Cheers, Chris. And that's from CW, Chris in Victoria, Australia. Victoria, is that Sydney or Melbourne? I don't even know where that is, CW boy. And are you still doing your community radio there? Huh? Do let us know that. But yeah, I would be going to another specialist about this. I really would. And see if there's anything else. Sometimes, you know, some doctors, I'm not saying, well, I mean, yes, I am saying some doctors are better than others. You know? And some doctors are good at one thing and some doctors are good at another. But there's going to be a doctor out there, I'm sure, who can help you further with this. You've got to find him, though. All right? Let us know how you get on. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Carl writes, a quick one here from Carl, who everyone hates. Carl is convinced everyone hates him. And do you know, I think I agree with you. Everyone hates Carl. And on the subject of my programme where I was talking about my new hanging baskets with winter pansies, he writes, "Pansies, dear, why am I not surprised?" What do you mean by that? I think that's a bit of a homophobic comment, to be honest. Huh? You would, though. You'd get some lefty gay bloke saying, "Oh, it's a homophobe," and they wouldn't see the funny side of that. Why is that? Why are people like that, so politically correct that they cannot see the funny side to things, can they? I think that's sad. And we come across them all the time. People who don't see the funny side of things. But I do see the funny side to that, Carl, because everyone hates you, as you mentioned, and as I keep mentioning. Motorised Millie. Hello, Millie. In Minnesota, you asked for our opinions on whether or not people should be told when they're going to die. Because I believe they shouldn't. Unless you absolutely want to know, I don't think people should be saying, "Oh, sorry, mate, you've got 2 days left." As soon as you're told that, you lose all hope. Millie says, "I can see both sides of the issue. On one hand, I see what you mean when you say that no one should have their hope taken away. But on the other hand, if God forbid I should develop something that could be potentially fatal, I would want to know, because I would then have the opportunity of getting my affairs in order just in case. That's not to say that if I were given news like that, I wouldn't fight like hell to stay alive. I would, believe me when I tell you that. I'm simply saying that I would want the information so that I would have the opportunity to get my house in order, if you will." So, yeah, I understand that entirely, Millie. Personally, I wouldn't want to know. I'd keep wanting to be told, "Don't worry, you'll be fine." Then you still have that little bit of hope. She says, "Please tell all the staff at Belushi's in Hammersmith that Millie sends her love and a hug. And yes, that includes you." I had a proper hug though, Millie, didn't I? Yes. Couldn't leave out my Chris. I'll ring you as soon. She's got a bad voice. She's got no voice at the moment. She's got a cold. She says at the moment she sounds like a frog. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Thank you, Millie. How are we doing on time? Oh, I would love to get both of these in. I don't think I'll get both of them in. We'll see. Lisa in California. Hello, Lisa. "I feel for you suffering in the public swimming pool." Yeah, we've had a few problems in it. I've been in there today, actually. I've just got back from swimming. Very, very pleasant. There's no people in there who are hogging the lane. There are no people splashing, and there's no people moaning every time you go past them. It's very, very pleasant today. Very pleasant. "I feel for you suffering in the public pool," she says. "It seems like you're having a time of it. Many of the fellows in the swimming pool were trying to flirt with you." Maybe the fellow in the swimming pool was trying to flirt with you. Oh, I hope not. He was about 60, dear. Far too old for me. "Say, if going to the pool is such a royal pain in your bum, why not save the money and have a pool installed in your own backyard? If only I could, dear. Or it'd be a small one. You own your own home, right? So you can put a pool in if you want, right? Yes, you're right. Yeah. In your own pool, you have it all to yourself, thus no more mean, picky or cheeky types to bother you. Just a suggestion to make your life less stressful. Hugs from Lisa in California." I'm loving the idea, Lisa. I probably could put a small one in there and just do twice the amount of lengths. But do you know how much these things cost to run, dear? Heating and what have you? God's sake, I wouldn't be able to afford that. We'd have to ask for donations. We would. Time for me to go. Thanks as always for watching our 3 times a week talk show. This is United Kingdom Talk. I'll see you on the next show. Don't forget, do join in on the email, okay? It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.